What's going on, everyone? In today's video, I'm going to show you guys a few tips and tricks to help you better your sniper aim in Modern Warfare. I know all of you would like to hit those super sick clips to share with your friends, families, maybe even your neighbors. But before you get those clips, you gotta hit those shots. So I'm hoping that before this video is over, you'll have the know-how, confidence, and setup to go from these types of shots to hitting clips like this. Alright, so obviously that was just me playing in a custom match using bots, but that leads me to my first tip: play custom games. I know it sounds dumb, but honestly, if you can hop in a custom match with, say, I don't know, 3 to 6 bots on recruit difficulty, it will significantly improve your aim because not only do you have to worry about actually hitting your shot, you don't know what they're gonna do. Just like against other players. As I'm sure you saw from that gameplay in this one, that the bots will have a tendency to run, strafe, and even crouch, making them difficult targets to hit, portraying a near similar experience to multiplayer. And the best part is you can pick any map you want to play on. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, man, this guy is so obvious. Well, if you think about it, using this method of improvement is great because when you pick a map, the bots will use multiple paths to try to get to you, meaning it will help you with pre-aiming certain spots. Now why is this significant? It's significant because let's say you're in a public match and you know somebody is rotating from left side original spawn to mid. It will allow you to determine the proper spot to keep your crosshairs in case they go to that spot. Another great thing about using the bots is they help with your movement. Movement is going to be key here if you want to succeed as a good sniper in Modern Warfare. Unlike and like previous installments of Call of Duty, you have the ability to tactical sprint and crouch slide. These are valuable and necessary tools good snipers utilize on a game-to-game basis. Notice how after I take a shot, I always continue to keep moving, whether I hit a shot or miss. This allows me to not only reposition myself for a better angle to shoot from, but also hinders the enemy from firing at me. So not only is your accuracy a big part of this, but so is how you move, where you move, and what you use as cover. Now, as I'm sure you can see from the gameplay, I'm not the best quickscoper or even sniper that's ever played, but that's why we practice. Now for some of you, Modern Warfare is the first Call of Duty game you've ever played, which in that case, welcome to the COD community, where toxicity roams like the buffalo on the prairies. Now all jokes aside, let's move on. So here, you can see me using a couple of different sprays. The reason why I'm doing this is to practice both movement and accuracy, but fluently together. Take a shot, move. Take a shot, move. Rinse and repeat. What this does is allow me to see how close to my target I'm getting. Now I'm sure all of you know how shooting targets works, but for the sake of those who don't shoot, I'll explain. You basically want to aim as close to the center of the target as possible. Now like I said, this is to combine your accuracy and movement, and that's it. Obviously there's going to be no true to MP gameplay here, but this just lets you as the player see how close your aim is to the target location as possible. Just keep in mind that there is no aim assist drag, so this makes it even better for those more precise shots. Now that we've gone over some ways to improve your in-game control, let's look a little deeper at the settings to see some fine-tuning for aim. The first thing I want to point out here is your button layout. Now when you first start playing the game with the stock settings, circle is to crouch, X is to jump, square is to reload, etc, etc. But with this setting right here, we can change that to improve movement. Now I personally like tactical because that allows me to crouch using the right stick, which makes drop shots, ducking behind cover, and sliding a lot easier. Whereas some people might like the setting where clicking your right stick jumps. Now here, we obviously have your X and Y axis sensitivity when you're not aiming down sight. But now we also have adjustments for aiming down sights with iron sights and also with high magnification weapons, such as guns with sniper scopes. Now that's what we're mostly going to focus on. Most of the best snipers in Call of Duty use higher sensitivities with their scopes and with their X and Y axis. As you can see, my sensitivity is relatively low, but my scope sensitivity is high. The reason why this is because when you zoom in with a scope, you're not always going to be exactly on target, so you'll have to quickly adjust while scoped in. This is what we refer to as a drag scope, because we are essentially dragging the scope over the target and then shooting, rather than already aiming on the target and shooting. Now, I like using the dynamic curve response for my aiming, just because it feels a bit more fluent, but to each their own, so make your settings your own. Next up is aim assist. For those who play on Xbox or PS4, aim assist is basically one of the most important, if not the most important aspect of any FPS. Thankfully for us, we now have options. I think precision is probably going to be your best bet if you're already a pretty accurate person who's been playing FPS games for a while, whereas focusing is going to be for the new players. Standard is just standard, so I don't think I have to speak much about that. And lastly, here we have some newer settings to come to Call of Duty. Movement. So I would say half of these you're really not going to mess with, but these are some of the settings I would suggest using. Tap to slide, and both auto move forward and auto sprint to both be turned off. Now, obviously, if you've been using these settings inversely and it works for you, then keep doing you, boo-boo. So, I think that just about sums up everything I had to talk about here, so I'm going to shut up now and roll some short clips of some shots I've whiffed and some shots I owned. Stay classy out there, peeps, and I'll catch you on the next vid. Deuces!
I hate that spot.
He hates me. What a punk.
Oh my god.
Oh!
Are you?
Oh!
What are you doing?
He's in that 1-year-old.
Just stop.
You got carried by Carl and Spike. Dude, shut the fuck up. Shut up. You're still having a fucking
It's so funny when people say my name.